All right, let's dive right into the real psychological battlefield of the financial markets. We're going to talk about why success in trading isn't really about finding some magic strategy. It's all about this internal rewiring that you have to go through to actually survive and, eventually thrive.
So it really boils down to this one question, right? What's the actual difference between a gambler and a trader who's consistently profitable? I mean, on the surface, it looks kind of the same. Both are taking risks, trying to make money. But the thing that separates the people who make it from the 90% who don't, well, it's not some secret indicator or a fancy computer. It's something way, way deeper.
And this slide, man, it just lays it all out perfectly. The gambler? They're running on pure impulse, all emotion. They're obsessed with whether this one bet, right now, is going to win or lose. But the trader? They're playing a totally different game. It's all about logic, discipline. Their focus isn't on winning this trade. Nope. It's about executing their process perfectly every single time.
I mean, let's be honest with ourselves for a second. This is why most of us got into this in the first place, right? The dream of quick, easy money. You see that chart just taking off and you feel that rush, that need for instant gratification. It's like our default setting as humans. But here's the kicker. It's also this single biggest thing that's going to stand in your way.
Okay, so this leads us straight into the first huge roadblock. Some call it the great emotional filter. Think of it like this. This is the point in the journey that weeds out almost everyone. It separates the hopeful amateurs from the people who actually start to become professionals. And it's not a test of your trading system. It's a test of you. So what exactly is this filter? Well, you can think of it as this hidden emotional stage. It's this super important and frankly unavoidable part of the process where you're doing everything by the book, but the results just aren't showing up yet. And the psychological stress, the pressure during this time is just immense. This is exactly where most people throw in the towel. And man, just look at these feelings. I bet some of these sound familiar. That soul-crushing boredom of just sitting there waiting for the perfect setup, maybe for days. Or that little voice in your head, that constant uncertainty telling you your strategy is garbage. That raw frustration when you take another small loss and another one, and then that powerful, overwhelming urge to just say screw it and abandon the plan just to do something. Yeah, that's the filter at work.
And this quote, it just hits the nail on the head. This is the absolute core of the problem. People don't quit because their system is broken. They quit because they completely misunderstand what's happening. They see this temporary stretch of no results and they think it's a permanent reflection of their own ability. They think, I'm just not good enough. They're mistaking a tough part of the journey for the final destination.
So the big question is, how do you actually get through that filter? Well, the secret isn't just to grit your teeth and endure it. No, you have to actively use it to change how your brain works. This is what we're calling the mental rewiring. It's a conscious choice. It's like you're upgrading your own internal operating system from one that runs on impulse to one that runs on pure cold logic. Okay, so how do we actually do this rewiring? It breaks down into these 4 steps. First, you have to shift your focus completely away from the outcome, the money, and onto your process. Then you have to develop what's called ruthless patience. We'll get into that. Third, you learn to see every failure, every loss, as just a piece of data. And finally, you practice all of this until logic, not that gut impulse, becomes your automatic go-to. All right, this first step is probably the most important one. Your entire goal has to change. You have to stop trying to win every single trade. It's impossible. It's a fool's errand. Your new goal, your only goal, is to execute your process perfectly, every single time. It doesn't matter if the trade wins or loses. Your job is flawless execution. The market will handle the rest.
And to do that, you need this thing called ruthless patience. And let's be clear, this isn't just sitting on your hands and waiting. No, it's an active discipline. It's the strength to refuse to act when the conditions aren't perfect. See, the gambler craves constant action. The trader, on the other hand, waits for the right action. And that means you have to become totally okay with doing absolutely nothing for hours, sometimes even for days, until your perfect setup finally shows up.
So this little timeline really maps out the whole journey perfectly. You start over here, right? Running hot, full of emotional impulse. Then, bam, you slam into that wall, that emotional filter stage. And yeah, it sucks, it's painful, it's frustrating. But if you can stick it out, if you do that mental rewiring, you come out on the other side. You're now a disciplined, logical executor. You haven't been broken by the process, you've been forged by it.
Okay, that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, and this might be the most important idea of all. After you go through all of this, what's the real prize? What have you actually been fighting for this whole time? Is it just about the money? Well, what we're going to see is that the real reward is something so much bigger than that. And here is the great paradox of becoming a successful trader. We all get into this for the money, obviously, but making consistent money cannot be your main goal. It just can't. You have to understand that profitability isn't the goal itself, it's the result. It's the natural byproduct of achieving something much, much harder. This chart just illustrates it perfectly. See these bars? As you focus all your energy on these two things, building discipline and achieving self-mastery, look what happens. The profitability bar just rises right along with them. It's almost an automatic consequence. You stop chasing the money and you start chasing mastery, and that's when the money starts chasing you. Just let that one sink in for a second. Profitability is a byproduct of self-mastery. That's it. That's the whole game. This is the final destination of that whole internal rewiring process we talked about. The real reward for pushing through all that boredom and frustration and doubt, it isn't just the money in your account. It's that you've become a more disciplined, more resilient person. So, I'm going to leave you with this one final question to think about. As you're working on your charts, tweaking your strategy, defining your rules, ask yourself this: are you just building a trading system, or are you letting the system rebuild you? Because at the end of the day, that internal transformation, that's the only prize that really matters.